Gop Shop with Gurpreet Serene. What's going on, everyone? My name is Gurpreet Serene, and welcome back to Gop Shop with Gurpreet Serene. Got an awesome guest for y'all, Sunny.
Hey guys, how are you?
And they say, we're doing great.
Yeah, great.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
Nice to see you too,
And
Gurpreet.
actually, I think we're meeting for the first time.
Yes, we are.
That's awesome. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you. And I've been following you for quite some time now.
Before we started, Sunny was talking about how he liked cutting open dead bodies.
Yeah.
And now he told me he's been following me for a while, so this is turning into an episode of you.
Yeah, there we go.
This is awesome. Well, thank you for following me, and thank you for agreeing to come on the show. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Let's get started, like I like to do, with a series of important questions. The most important question I want to ask you. Here's one. Nicki Minaj or Cardi B?
Nicki Minaj.
All right. Let's hear why.
So I've been a fan of Nicki for a long time. From the times when she was doing her mixtapes out of her BMWs at Southside Jamaica, Queens.
Old school, yeah.
From Itty Bitty Piggy. And also, you know, like her raps and her flows and her different voices.
Yeah.
They're very therapeutic in a way.
Okay.
You know, you can blast down your windows, kind of like when I was coming over here, and you just throw on some Nicki and you just rap crazy and you just feel so calm, you know? It's very therapeutic. You should try it at home, guys.
All right, so we'll make sure to do that. And so you prefer Nicki Minaj over Cardi B?
Oh, right, you did ask me that question.
Yeah, which one?
I do prefer Nicki Minaj over Cardi B only because, and don't kill me, I just think that Nicki is more authentic and she's a great lyricist. I feel like Cardi B is kind of manufactured.
Ooh, yeah. That is a testy subject because people tell me the opposite. They think that Nicki Minaj is trying too hard now. And
Trust me, I get into this argument with a lot of people all the time.
Yeah.
But I really feel like, I do trust, believe me, I think Cardi's story is very relatable.
Sure, absolutely.
And it's pretty dope from where she came.
And where she is now.
And where she is now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so is Nicki's story. And I think for the upcoming generation, I think Cardi's more relatable to them.
Yeah.
But for somebody like me or, people that were in my age group.
Of course.
And also coming from Jamaica, Queens.
That's, your hometown, right?
My hometown. I'm from Jamaica, Queens. So Nicki was kind of predominantly, she kind of took over Queens. And everyone was so obsessed with her.
Absolutely.
Everyone loved they wanted to see her different wigs, her different clothes.
True.
Even I followed Gurpreet on American Idol when she was a judge there. When she was a judge on that season. And, even her crazy little stories that she would say or her nicknames that she would give people.
I know.
They were hilarious, except the one that she gave you. I didn't really like that one.
I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't allowed to say too much.
So I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, Nicki,
I didn't really like that.
Apologize.
Thank
you for having my back.
No problem.
That means a lot.
No problem.
That is so wild. You've also met her a couple times, haven't you?
I have met her.
Yeah.
I'm that crazy fanatic fan that stayed in line for 10 hours for her Elliott Wilson interview.
Oh my God.
And it was the coldest day in December, and it was me and my homegirl, and we got there 8 o'clock, and we were the first 60 barbs, and we stayed. Wow. We waited for her to come to 9:30, 10.
Holy
and
shit.
As soon as she pulled up, she was like, "Guys, everyone inside!" So we all went inside. She signed my Pink Print album. We had a one-on-one conversation.
Wow.
Hopefully she remembers this. And she did she was the first female rapper that Elliott Wilson had on his that he interviewed.
Correct.
And so she gave out Mixed Moscato. It was pretty dope. It was very surreal moment. And then also I've met her backstage a few times at her concerts.
That is so dope.
Because I'm super fanatic, but.
Yeah, you're a fan. I mean, you're not a super obsessed fan.
I'm not super obsessed. I mean, to some extent, I kind of was at one point, but now, I'm more mature, so I'm more classy.
So you don't have a tattoo of Nicki Minaj on your back or something? You're not
No, I don't have that. But, at the same time, when I was kind of a fanatic or in a sort of kind of crazy kind of way, I don't know, I just feel her music really related to me,
Yeah.
She was the only person, it's her, Aaliyah, and Toni Braxton that I listen to a lot.
Oh man, classic, yeah.
Yeah, her, I feel she brings out the crazy,
wow, yeah.
kind of Looney Tune side of you when you want to rap.
Yeah.
And then Aaliyah and Toni Braxton are more mellow.
Mellow, more soul.
Yeah, more soul,
absolutely.
and kind of feeds your soul.
That's awesome. So you talked about how that music is relevant, it's relatable. I like having you on the show today because I know you are very relatable as well, and you have you have a very interesting and exciting story and very like inspiring story to tell. So for all the viewers that may not know, or the viewers that do know, you are a big like LGBTQ like speaker or inspire within our community, and then like the Desi, Punjabi, Indian community as well.
Right.
Walk me through your story from the very beginning. I know you came out to your family, your community. Walk me through that process to where you are today.
Well, Gurpreet, it's kind of like hard to kind of, I don't want to get too emotional about it.
Sure.
But it definitely is something that has been one of the hardest challenges that I've ever had.
Yeah.
And also, it's been also like an educational component as well. I feel like, Vaheguru has kind of blessed me in a certain way where I feel like I'm able to speak on these matters and kind of give this type of knowledge and bestow it on certain people who might have ignorant views or narrow-minded views. So, I mean, I'm born and raised from Jamaica, Queens. I'm a child of a single mother. My dad walked out on us when I was about 9.5 years old. My mom has a son from her first marriage who's my older brother, who is a lawyer. And, growing up, it was just me and my mom because my brother was in law school.
Right.
He's a lot older than me. He's kind of like my dad in a way.
Okay.
We have a large age gap. And so when I was living alone with my mom, it's very difficult to sort of share certain things with your mother. I'm sure you can relate.
Absolutely,
like you kind of need like a male figure to talk about certain things.
Yeah, of course.
You don't feel as comfortable with your mom as you do with your dad.
Sure.
And I felt like I didn't have that, and because my brother was so far away.
Yeah.
It wasn't really like since I didn't see him every single day, I really didn't use him as a resource when I should have, actually, now that I think back to it.
Yeah.
So I was teased a lot in school, for everyone that's watching, you know who you are. And I was bullied a lot in school. And my mom is a Gursikh woman.
Yeah.
So is my whole family.
You mentioned you grew up in a Gursikh family.
I grew up in a Gursikh family, very orthodox, very traditional views, and that part of it, I also love that too because I'm kind of grounded to my roots.
You mentioned you took Amrit when you were 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so you started off in a very like orthodox background.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hope you don't get like any like negative comments because of that.
And if I do, this is why you're here. Because this is like a important controversial
Right.
topic. Yeah.
Yes, sure. I did take Amrit when I was 5 years old, even though everyone was telling me not to do it, but because all the kids were doing it.
Sure.
And I grew up in Gurmat camps.
Yeah.
My father, when he was in my life, he was the president of the Gurmat camp at 118 Gurdwara.
Wow.
Sikh Cultural Society. So everyone kind of knows who he is.
Yeah.
And so, since I was like the son of the president of the Gurmat camp or whatever, so, it was like all eyes on me growing up. And so I kind of felt like it was like a due diligence. Like I felt like I had to chuck Amrit.
These like expectations.
Like there was like expectations that I needed to like fulfill.
Yeah.
And so I did it. And I do know all the Panch Barniya.
Yeah.
I do Ardas, I do Nam Simran and stuff like that. I feel like I have a really good relationship with Vaheguru. I talk to him every single day.
Awesome.
I think that's very important. Even if you don't believe in God, if you believe in like a superpower or energy, I feel like every morning if you talk to yourself in the mirror, you do some meditation, kind of clears up your head and kind of, it focuses you for the day. And that's kind of like how I live my days, my day to day. And that's something that my mom taught me.
I love that. That's interesting because when we spoke on the phone before the interview, we had a conversation, and it's a very relevant conversation about the difference between religion and the community. Right? You're a gay Sikh.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you can't be a Sikh.
Right.
I think in our community there's been this sort of issue or discrepancy between your like religious beliefs versus what's like considered culturally appropriate or acceptable.
Absolutely.
How has that been a challenge for you?
It's definitely been a challenge.
Yeah.
So Barney doesn't really state who you should be with.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Barney kind of just says that, it's two souls, one body coming together.
Right.
It doesn't really enunciate that it has to be male or female,
of course.
so on and so forth.
Right.
I know other people might have very strong views on that, and that's fine, but that's what I believe
That's your interpretation.
That's my interpretation of Barney.
Yeah.
And, when we go to Gurdwara and when we sit with the Saad Sangat, it's all about love. It's all about teachings of Vaheguru. And Vaheguru doesn't teach us to hate. Vaheguru doesn't teach us to discriminate, Actually, he kind of teaches us the opposite. He kind of teaches us equality, and he teaches us to come together, you know? And so culturally, people have very strong views. Even, for example, like even currently, like day to day, I have a lot of homegirls, who are Punjabi and they're Sikh, and let's say like they have a fiance or they have a boyfriend, and even them, like they feel a certain type of way if there's another male figure in their girlfriend or their fiance or wife's life, right?
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, well, there's another man in your life,
God. Yeah.
And so it's just like, how do you break down that barrier? Like, it's kind of frustrating to have to consistently justify who you are as a person.
Sure.
And it's very frustrating to have to kind of get the buy-in of the people.
Of course.
Because my non-Punjabi friends, I never have a problem with that.
They accept it. They understand it. You don't have to. You don't have to explain
I just think it's like our community.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of pride. There's a lot of ego.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of judgment.
Sure.
And so how do you break that down, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it starts with kind of just having a conversation.
Of course.
And I feel like I'm guilty of this sometimes and people have told me this, if my friends are watching this, they're probably gonna be like, yeah, I just told him this morning. But sometimes when I'm very passionate about something, it comes across as I'm being defensive, but it's not.
Okay.
It's just that I'm super passionate.
You're passionate, yeah.
And I'm trying to relay this message as feisty and fierceful as I can.
So that the message comes across.
And that
people see your passion.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes what happens is that people that are perceiving the message, right?
Yeah.
They take that as if I'm being defensive. Or that I'm not eloquently able to educate them on something.
Okay.
Right?
And therefore they don't think you're qualified.
Right. And so therefore they're like, oh, but you're on social media and you are doing this whole advocacy and you're trying to bridge the Sikh community with the LGBTQ community, but yet you're here and you're trying to, you're being a little like rude or you're coming off aggressive or this or that. And I'm just like, yeah, but because you're saying ignorant things.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if I'm sitting there and I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but then it's another thing if you keep responding back with ignorant comments.
Right, and they're not like willing to have a conversation and learn.
They're not willing to understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Of course, yeah.
So back to your question, right? What are we doing? What am I doing basically to kind of interlink LGBTQ communities with the Sikh community, right?
Yes.
So a year ago, and this is kind of because of my boyfriend, we were sitting on our couch in our apartment and I was just going through my Instagram and I was like, you know what? There's like not one person that like I can identify with on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like there is not one person. Like yeah, there are Sikh people on Instagram, with turbans and beards, and that's one component. And then there's like the gay culture, there's all gay LGBTQ individuals on Instagram doing their own thing.
Right.
But there's no one that I can relate to on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I was like, I need to like break the norm and I should just become the person that I want to see on Instagram.
And I love that. That's so cool. Yeah.
And so me and my boyfriend, we had a conversation. He was like, Sunny, why don't you just do that? And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, how am I going to do that, I mean, a lot of people do say I'm loud and I can be obnoxious and I have a really fun personality, but at the same time, I'm also a human being.
Yeah.
And doing something like that comes with a lot of negative criticism. And it comes with a lot of, you have to be a very strong person.
You're putting yourself out there.
To handle it, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so I have a friend his name is JL Perez. If you guys check him out on my Instagram, he did a lot of he was my photographer. We did a lot of amazing shoots together.
Nice.
And he basically, we spoke about it. He's like, you know what? Let's do something crazy. Like, let's just do something wild. I'm like, okay. So I started off and we took some pictures. I wore a bug, had my beard out, whatever. And there was a company called Aware Causes who had an LGBTQ necklace. And it was basically to bring awareness about the community.
Yeah.
So long story short, we did that and it kind of went everywhere.
Wow.
Like,
nice.
Everyone started just reposting it, like everyone. Like
that's awesome.
There's a lot of people like from Canada, from Australia. Like I don't even know, the DMs were just becoming so much. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Right? And then from there, I got signed to West Haven Management, which is my modeling agency.
Yeah.
From there, I became a brand ambassador for 360 Magazine. So I work closely with them. I go to a lot of events for them.
Sure.
And then it just became like something a lot bigger than me.
Of course,
You know?
yeah.
And then I started getting a lot of DMs where there was people that were telling me like, hey, like I'm watching you on Instagram and you're doing all this stuff. Like, how are you doing it? Like, I wake up every day and I feel like I want to kill myself. Or I wake up every day and like my parents are telling me that like I'm useless because of what I identify with.
Yeah.
And then like I started meeting people that were of trans experience and they were
Yeah.
from the Sikh community.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, where have these people been? Like
Right.
I've never seen them before.
Yeah, yeah.
Then all these gay Sikhs that around the country, around the world started hitting me up and I'm like, I'm not the only one. Like there's so many of us.
Yeah.
And I feel like
It's amazing.
it was because of the hub that I started to create.
Of course,
that
yeah.
people started to kind of feel comfortable and like hit me up and kind of share their experiences with me and ask me for like advice. And I'm like, you know, who am I to give advice? You know, I'm kind of figuring it out on my own as I'm going
Sure,
through my journey.
sure.
You know, but the fact that people are willing to just come to me or DM me and be like, hey, Sunny, what would you do if you were in this situation?
Yeah.
Or what would you do if, you know, your parents did this to you? And so it's been a really positive experience.
Of course.
As well as a negative experience.
Yeah.
I do get a lot of hate. I do get a lot of negative comments, especially from people from our South Asian community who tell me that I'm disgusting or I should rot in hell or
God.
Vaiguru will never accept me when I die, when I get to gates of heaven, blah, blah, blah. Who are you to tell me that? Screw yourself.
But I have a question about that though.
Right.
How did
Sorry, I kinda
society?
went on a rant.
How did society become that way? I mean, obviously we're talking about like the patriarchal Punjabi
Right.
society, but like there was like the messages of our gurus,
Right.
which was one love, acceptance, equality for all. So where did we get this cultural divide? And obviously like that may have been our parents' generation. Now we have a generation of people like you
Right.
that are advocating for this like new understanding of equality, it's more progressive liberal ideas. Which is good that the next generation has role models like you that you didn't have. But there's still people that are DMing you
Right.
to say things like rotten hell that may be our age, and they're going to pass that down to their kids. How do we break that cycle altogether? How did we get here to begin with?
They need to have a gay child.
Okay.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you don't walk, if you're not able to put yourself in someone else's shoes,
True, yeah.
you're not able to experience what they're experiencing.
Of course.
And for example, even with my own family, growing up, they used to say a lot of homophobic things.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't feel comfortable coming out to them because of that.
yeah.
There's a show, Modern Family.
Great show. Love that
Great
show.
show.
Yeah.
Love that show.
Yeah.
But you know, when I was growing up, I used to be like, oh, why are you watching that? Like, that's not how life's supposed to be. This is not, and it's like, but it's someone's life for them. Like
Yeah.
they're choosing, they're able to live that way because
course.
they're being true to themselves.
They're being
And it's
authentic,
being
yeah.
aired on the television because there's so many people out here that wish they can aspire to be like that.
True. Yeah.
So to your question, how do we break that? It's very difficult because even currently now, a lot of people aren't comfortable with even talking about a gay individual.
Right,
Right?
yeah.
They don't even want to, maybe it's because like the sexual aspect of it that comes with it that people aren't comfortable with.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because, you know, when you normal, like, you know, for example, right?
Yeah.
You're a heterosexual male, right?
Yes, yeah.
So you're normalized in the community, right?
Like I'm
If
accepted
you're
as default.
accepted.
Yeah. Okay.
If we both are walking down the street,
Yeah.
I bet you $1 million I would be the one who would get all the heads, right?
Okay.
I would be the one that would be like, and that's even with you having a turban and a beard.
Yeah.
But it's maybe because I'm moving my hands a certain way.
Right.
Or my voice is a little
That's so
feminine.
crazy.
Or
Yeah.
I have my hair out and they're like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you might not see it
Sure.
walking next to me,
Yeah.
but I feel it.
Of course.
You know?
Of course, yeah.
And the reason why I feel it is because it's been that way since I was a little kid.
yeah.
And I'm really good now with feeding off of energies. And I know when someone is being genuine and when
Yeah.
someone is kind of like disgusted by my presence.
Sure.
You know?
Oh my God,
and so, and that comes with a lot of experience. And that
Yeah.
comes with, you know, being true to yourself
course.
and knowing how you are as a person.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people need to just understand that, you know, it's just important to be kind to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I have someone really close to me just the other day, they were telling me that, you know, well, when I came out to you 2 years ago, you kind of dismissed me.
Wow.
You know, you kind of didn't even take me at face value. And I thought back to it and I was like, how could I do that? You know, like how for someone that's been tortured or for someone that's been ridiculed so much.
Yeah.
Why was I able to do that to this person who means a lot to me, right? And I thought about it, and it's because that's how I was experiencing when I was coming out to people.
Right, yeah.
People weren't taking me seriously.
Of course.
And people weren't able to understand like what I was saying.
Yeah.
And growing up, I didn't have anyone to look up to and be like, okay, well, he did it that way, so I can kind of follow in his path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel you, yeah.
And so when that person told me that, I did a lot of self-internalization, and I was like, well, this is all about growth, right?
Yeah.
Life is all about evolving.
Life is all about growth.
It's all about a growth, right?
Yeah, of course.
So as long as you don't do it again,
yeah.
you know that you're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah, you have to learn from the mistakes you made. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Sonny, question for you. You brought up very confidently and very powerfully that one way we can break the cycle is that people have to have like a gay child, and for them to actually experience that. Walk us through, you mentioned you came out to your family. Obviously, it was not very easy. You came out to your greater family in the community as well. If you're comfortable with that, if you could just walk us through what that experience was like coming out to the family, if there's anything you would have done differently or something you would have changed, and just walk us through how you were feeling in your mind and like how you did that.
So the first person I came out to in my family were my two cousins.
Okay.
We basically grew up together.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge family.
Okay.
So we like they're my mamaji's daughters.
Okay.
And we're kind of I would say that we're kind of like this.
Okay.
So when I came out to them, for them it was like what are you talking about?
Wow.
Like, what does this mean? You know?
Really?
But
okay.
It's not like they were like, well, forget you. Like
Okay.
they wanted to learn more about it.
Okay.
Because I myself didn't know. I just knew that I was attracted to the same gender.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all I knew.
How old were you when you came out to them?
I would say maybe like 14.
Okay.
13, 14.
So you're still trying to figure out who you are as a person.
Yeah, I was still trying to figure out who I was as a person, right?
Right, yeah, of course.
And they couldn't really understand it either because, you know, they were like, I guess it was something very new to them. I mean, fast forward, now they're like so supportive.
Of course.
Like, they're like, we don't want you to be any other way.
Good.
So I came out to my mom in 2014.
Okay.
And I do regret the way I came out to her because it kind of came out in a way of frustration. Because, you know, she was kind of like, oh, well, you know, you're going to graduate soon. Maybe, you know, you should start thinking about, like, getting married and this or that.
Yeah.
And the conversation kind of started going in a certain way where I was like, okay, this is the moment where I can either tell her or I can just, like, keep it in myself forever and never share it.
Oh, my gosh.
And she just kind of kept pushing, like, what she expected out of me.
Yeah.
And it was like boiling up, and I kind of just like blew up on her. And I really feel very horrible about that till this day because that wasn't the right way to come out to her. And it's been a very difficult, it's been a very difficult like process for my mom. But to say that she's not trying, I would be lying.
Of course.
She's definitely trying.
Yeah.
And the rest of my family, I kind of came out to them because I'm in a relationship. So the first person that I told was my mom. And then from there, my brother had already kind of known.
Yeah.
I just never said it to him. And he already knew.
Okay.
So for him, it was like already known.
Yeah.
But we still had a conversation about it, and we talked about it.
Yeah.
And my brother is very supportive. He's a great ally. Like, he completely understands. Like, he gets, like, you know, why I am this way. And I'm so happy that I have him in my life because he's able to kind of help my mom.
Yeah.
Kind of understand too, so he's kind of like that bridge for us.
Like the middle person to help, like translate or relay some things to you. Yeah, that's great.
So that really helps. When I came out to my dad, that was horrible. It became a little physical.
Yeah.
He got so mad. He was like so disgusted. And that side of the family I don't really talk to, nor do I care for.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've just been like, he's just like, I don't even care.
So this is it's interesting because I'm not trying to defend people
Right.
like that. That being said, have you ever seen Orange is the New Black?
Yes, I have.
So it's interesting how they talk about people's backstories and why they are the way they are.
Right.
And maybe as they were children, what they were taught, that's all they know. And so they act or react a certain way. But you now have the opportunity to, we are becoming the next generation of, my sister just had a kid who's 6 months old. So we're becoming like the younger parents, the next generation of parents who are around our age. What advice would you have as a Gaysik to the next generation of kids that are getting old enough to start having kids of their own, of like parenting, acceptance, trying to understand their kid, and sort of like, because you may not have had that experience growing up yourself.
Yeah.
What are some thoughts?
If your kid is telling you something,
Yeah.
believe them.
Okay.
There's a lot of truth in what they're saying.
Yeah.
If your kid is playing with the pink doll and they're a boy, let them play with the pink doll. It doesn't mean that they're gonna grow up to be gay. That's a stereotype. That's a myth.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't snatch the Barbie doll away from them, because then it becomes like they'll grow up and be like, oh well, that was something bad. You know, that was something that was wrong for me to do because my mom snatched that away from me.
Yeah.
You know, and in our culture, that's like a thing. Oh, like munde hagene, oh, like mundeyan wale toys dina play cricket, right?
Yeah.
Kuriyan hagene, they have to wear dresses and they play with Barbie dolls, and it's like, no, why can't a girl play with a transformer? What's wrong with that?
I agree completely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
And so, like, if you see certain signs with your child and you see that your child is a little different, you know, from the rest of the group, and you know, likes to dress a little differently. Maybe they like to put on like their mom's makeup when their mom goes to work, and you come home and you see don't get mad at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did that.
Yeah.
You know, like I used to go play in my mom's makeup drawer, and I used to go play with her jewelry and stuff like that. Not to say that I was going to grow up to be gay, but it was something that
you just enjoyed it. You're a kid.
I didn't care about the sports aspect.
Yeah.
Like my mom wanted me to like be in sports and do that, and I was like, well, I kind of want to like dance, and I kind of want to like do this other kind of stuff.
Which is awesome. My parents were like super athletes.
Yeah.
And they tried putting us into sports, and I also didn't. Sorry, mom and dad. I also didn't care too much about that.
Right.
But yeah, it doesn't mean like you can't be afraid of kids that are just experimenting and having fun, worried that they're going to end up a certain way because they like playing with jewelry. That being said, what was your favorite like makeup of your mother's growing up? Was there anything that like you were attracted to the most?
Her red lipstick. Or her pink lipstick. I used to literally just like put it on.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I like wore like all of her jewelry, and I put on her high heels, and I walked downstairs, and she looked at me and she was like, what is going on? She was like so like startled. She was like, she probably doesn't even remember this, but I remember it.
That's awesome.
And she like looked, she's like, can you, but she wasn't like mad. She was like, can you just take that off and put it back, please? And I was like, okay. So I have that like very clear memory in my head.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah.
So you mentioned you're signed to a modeling agency and a brand ambassador as well. Congratulations, that's really
Thank
cool.
you.
Living in New York, you work as a model as well. Walk me through that. What are some cool projects you've worked on? Where do you see yourself going with that? And do you think there's any sort of bridging the gap between the Sikh community, the LGBTQ communities, or the intersectionality of that, and being a model? What are your thoughts?
So the thing that I love about my modeling agency is that they kind of let me do whatever I want.
Wow.
It's not kind of like, oh, well, we need you to do this. It's like they see what I'm doing, because the thing is that I was already growing a following and a base and having a platform on Instagram.
Correct.
And they saw that, and they reached out to me because they saw that.
Nice. Okay.
So they kind of have given me kind of like free reign on how I want to proceed and how I want my social media following to grow.
Okay.
They kind of trust me with that. And Atlas, who is my manager, he's great, and I really support him for that. And so because of that, I've been able to like work with Aware Causes. I worked with Turban Inc.
Nice.
I was able to work with Jyoti K. We did a podcast together.
And that's how I found out about you. Yeah,
right.
It's awesome.
And I love Jyoti K. I'm so happy that she kind of reached out to me and was like, hey, like, I love what you're doing. I need you on my podcast. And I was like, okay, like, what do you want? I was so scared. 'Cause I was like, I'm just over here like taking pictures and posting them on Instagram. Like no one's hearing my voice. Like this is even kind of a little bit scary for me, right? But she was like, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll do it. You know, she wanted me to fly out. She wanted me to come out there, but she was like, you know what? Let's just do it through webcam.
Okay.
And I felt a little bit more comfortable because I was kind of like in my own area and stuff like that.
Sure.
And it was just like such an awesome conversation. It didn't even feel like it was like a podcast.
Yeah.
And I mean, she told me she was like, it was like her highest listened episode to date.
Yeah, like the most popular one.
The most popular one.
Amazing.
She has like 70,000 views on it or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't even know. So check it out. It's on YouTube. It's called I Am a Gay Sick. So then I did a cool project just recently with Radio Zindagi with Renu Dillon from California.
Yeah.
And her daughter Sheena reached out to me on Instagram and she was like, hey, Sunny, like, I love what you're doing. Her mom is a divorcee and, you know, that's also a little taboo in our community.
It is, yeah.
So she uses her radio station and her her kind of social media to talk about, like, taboo things within our community.
Okay.
And so I did that just recently. You guys can check it out if you want to download Radio Zindagi. It's on there, and I also posted some snippets on my Instagram recently. And there's also a lot more exciting things to come. The thing is that I also work as an administrator for an LGBTQ clinic and HIV clinic.
Correct, yeah.
So to juggle that and juggle the modeling and then juggle the magazine, like it's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot to do, yeah.
So I like, if projects become available, if time is there, if my calendar isn't booked, I really try to like do as much as I can.
Of course. Yeah.
I have been a little absent on social media, and that's only because I I wanted to step away from it for a second. Because sometimes social media can kind of consume you.
What different social media sites do you use?
I only use Instagram and Snap.
Oh, which one do you like better, Snapchat or Instagram?
Snapchat.
What?
Yeah.
Of all the guests I've had so far, you're the only one who said Snapchat.
Yeah, I like Snapchat only because they have really cool filters.
This is true. Yeah.
And because it's more like, I feel like it's more fun because I don't have a lot of people on Snapchat.
Okay.
I just have a few people, and not a lot of people know about it, but enough people know about it where they're getting the message.
Yeah.
And also I feel like I can be more comfortable on Snapchat. I feel like on Instagram I have to like,
you have a brand.
I have a brand, so I have to be portrayed in a certain way. So on and so forth. So on Snapchat I feel like I'm like a little liberated. You know? Like
so you post different things on Instagram and Snapchat then.
I do. I try to post like things that are similar. In certain ways. But yeah, like on Instagram, I post a lot more of the work that I'm doing.
Yes.
And I feel like on Instagram, that's the only place I'm able to reach a lot of people that are sick or LGBTQ, or even if non-sick. You know, like anybody.
Right.
And so yeah, that's why I kind of like Snapchat better.
This is wild.
And the filters on Instagram aren't as cool as
they're
the ones
not
on
as
Snap.
cool, and I don't like that either.
Yeah.
You can add like cool like GIFs or GIFs and cool like that kind of stuff is fun.
Yeah.
But the actual swipe filters are not as cool on Instagram.
And also like on Snap, you can have like groups. Like me and my best friends, we have like a group, and we can like snap each other on Instagram. You only have that in your DMs.
Oh yeah, you can only DM the group.
You can't do that like on your story or something, you know?
You haven't convinced me yet, Sunny, but still, I had a Snapchat, but I deleted that. You mentioned that you also work in like healthcare administration. Briefly tell us what that is like.
So I graduated from Hofstra University a couple years ago with a master's in healthcare administration. And I started off working at Northwell Health. Which is a huge healthcare system out here in New York City. Yeah. And so, you know, just getting my feet wet, you know, I worked in urology, I worked in ACMED, I worked for the World Trade Center Health Program for the first responders that were affected by 9/11 and their families, which is a great experience, very touching. And then I kind of wanted to, as my Instagram was getting more engagement and more following, I kind of wanted to do work that was more geared to my brand. In a way.
Sure.
And so where I currently work, it's the Center for AIDS Research and Treatment. And it's an you can call it an LGBTQ clinic in a way, but it's more geared towards infectious diseases and HIV.
Gotcha.
We do awesome work. Like we have groups for our patients. We do a lot of program promotion. A lot of it's geared towards LGBTQ healthcare. Yeah. And we get to work on right now I'm working on a telemental health project. We're working on expansions. So I really love where I'm working right now.
Yeah.
It's nice to work with like-minded individuals like yourself,
Of course.
who kind of have the same passion as you.
Absolutely.
And because I've been working there, I was able to go to Atlanta and attend the Center for Disease Control conference.
That's dope. Yeah.
And then I just came back from DC, where I attended the Sync conference, where basically it was about all people collaborating together, syncing together. So
Yeah.
stakeholders, consumers, providers, whatever it may be. If a clinic is more advanced than another clinic, how you can effectively help them, efficiently help them, so stuff like that. And it's something that's really important to me.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like in a way I'm able to give back to the community. I just wish that I was able to do like more. You know, I have like so many ideas and so many things that I want to do, but you know, just not enough time.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself? This is not a job interview, but where do you see yourself in a few years? Is this something like work-wise? Because I know it's really relevant to do research. You're presenting on HIV and AIDS.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself continuing down that path, or is your passion more in like the activism or entertainment, modeling? Have you thought really about like where you want to go with all of this, or is it all three, or none of it? You just want to be like a rock climber?
It's all three.
Wow. Okay.
I do want to go back to school, get my PhD in public health.
Cheers. Okay. Wow.
I do want to teach. I want to be able to teach on human equality and gender fluidity.
Nice.
I do also want to keep modeling, but how long can you really model for? Like, you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And that's no offense to people that are like a lot older and they're doing their thing, but to me, it's like, you know, there's obviously like I feel like there's a deadline there.
Duration, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Obviously, at some point, it's like, okay, I want to do more than that.
Okay.
So I feel like I want to, you know, maybe go into politics, you know, at the local level, because it's very important for you to elect people at the local level who relate more to you as a person. You know, right now, there is no rights for LGBTQ people on the federal level.
Yeah.
Which is why it's very important for you guys to check out the Equality Act. You should elect politicians at the local level.
That's dope.
You should read up on the Equality Act. You should see what they do. I mean, this administration has kind of banned transgender people from the military. You know, and I understand everyone has their views on trans rights, and everyone has their views on, you know, their religious beliefs, their society beliefs, culture beliefs, but I feel like equality is equality. Whether you're trans, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're black, whether you're white, it shouldn't matter. Everyone should have rights in this country. Yeah. Like there's countries, third world countries like India and Pakistan and Bangladesh that have a third gender. They recognize a third gender.
They do, yeah.
But yet we're a progressive country and we don't have a third gender. Now they're putting X on birth certificates, but it's 2019.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We have a long way to go.
We have a long way to go. Yeah. And what this administration is doing is it's kind of reverting back instead of moving forward.
Sure.
And that's why it's important, like people like Alexandria Cortez and even like Superwoman, Lily Singh, who just came out as bisexual. Like it's important to have people out there representing you. Whether that be in politics and entertainment and fashion, just so the message is getting across, you know, just so people are getting the knowledge of it, and they're able to they're like, oh, Lily Singh is bisexual. Let me Google what bisexual means. You know?
You learn more, and they all have different audiences, so it's like those audiences are learning from their role models, like you, which is why Sunny. Anyone who searches Sunny on Instagram, maybe Snapchat, but Instagram, will see that his name is actually King Sunny.
Right.
Walk me and us through what King Sunny means. Is that tell us about your brand, how you came up with that name. What's up, King Sunny?
So I don't want to give him all the credit, which his name is Jael Perez, who I just shouted out, the photographer. Right. But since I'm such a die-hard Nicki fan, my Instagram handle used to be AOSB_Zolan_Sky. Okay. Because, you know, my initials are SB, and she has stupid hoe. AOSB, what the fuck's good? We ship platinum, bitches chicken wood, da 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 da. Right? So that was my Instagram handle, right? And then Jael was like, Sunny, like that doesn't even make any sense. You know, like you're trying to do all this stuff, but your handle isn't really like kind of identifying you as a person.
Okay.
So let's work on kind of changing that.
Sure.
And I was like, no, like I love it. Like I don't want to change it, you know? And I would say he was kind of managing me for a little bit.
Okay.
So we like threw out a lot of names and we were like going back and forth. And he was like, well, what about King Sunny B 29? And I'm like, I don't like that, you know? And then we were going back and forth. I'm like, what about just King Sunny B? You know?
Yeah.
What is a bug? A bug is something that kind of, I feel like when I wear a bug, it kind of makes me feel like royalty.
Yeah.
You know? I'm
Yeah,
sure that's how you feel.
Yeah,
It makes you feel like a king.
Like a king,
It
yeah.
kind of makes you feel more enlightened, like how my mom says, which is
Sure.
why she's probably upset right now that I'm not wearing a bug. I'm sorry, but I had to stay true to who I am.
Cheers. Do you, bro? Do you?
And so, you know, that's why I was like, you know what? It just makes sense. And Sunny B is like my name. Well, my name is Sandeep, but everyone calls me Sunny. No one really calls me Sandeep.
Okay.
So that's how King Sunny B came across.
Yeah, that's cool.
And a lot of people have been actually messaging me like, hey, you got a t-shirt, you got like a necklace or whatever. And I'm like, I don't really have that.
Not yet.
Not yet. I just want to see like how many people are really interested before I actually invest in it and start putting it out there.
Of course,
you know?
yeah.
So I've been getting those messages, but just keep a lookout. There are some things in the way.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see that. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie?
Yes, of all times.
Oh God, I hate these kind of questions.
I love these kind of questions.
My favorite movie. I would say, what is something that I watch all the time on I would say Legally Blonde.
Oh, that's
which
a
is
classic.
So they're gonna be like, what? But yeah, I really love watching Legally Blonde. I
Okay.
do watch it a lot on Netflix only because, right? Elle, who is Reese Witherspoon in Legally Blonde.
Reese Witherspoon, yeah.
She was like what? She was like that white girl, like, oh my God. You know, like she was like that white girl.
Classic,
but
yeah.
She persevered.
She persevered.
Come on,
She's a
the
genius,
dude that
yeah.
she was in love with forced her to go to law school, right? She kicked ass. She
yeah.
graduated. She became like, she made a speech at her graduation. There's so much power in that movie.
There's a lot of power in that movie. It also shows that you shouldn't like judge a book by its cover, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He got it right on the eye.
You got it. Okay. What's your like favorite TV show? You watch Modern
Friends.
Family. Friends. Who's your favorite character?
Phoebe.
Do you think you relate most to Phoebe?
No, I probably relate more to Rachel.
Yeah.
But Phoebe's just, she has like that dry humor and she literally like is so funny. Like my boyfriend hates Friends. He's like, I literally don't understand like that you watch this over and over again. You laugh at the same jokes. Like it literally doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, I mean, also because I understand a lot of people don't like Friends because they don't really have a diverse cast.
They do not. No,
they do not. So a lot of people like they're like, you know. So, but I like it. I feel like it's a pretty cool show. It makes me laugh.
Yeah. What kind of shows does your boyfriend watch?
Game of Thrones.
Do you like Game of Thrones?
Yes, I do, and that's because of him. When we first started going out, he was like, "You gotta watch this show." I bought him like the whole collection of the books. For Christmas.
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, "We gotta watch this together. We gotta watch." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And then I swear to God, I started watching it and I didn't stop.
As in like nonstop, just
like I saw all 6 seasons within like a week and a half. Like I was like literally watching it every like after episode after episode after episode. I'm like, oh my God, I can't stop. It's so good.
It's a great show. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched the new season yet because I want to rewatch a lot of the other episodes because I've heard that you need to watch some of the episodes again to understand what's going on in the new season.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Sorry, I'm not trying to give any teasers or anything.
Yeah. Also, depending on when this episode airs, like obviously the show is still going on at 9 p.m. every Sunday. It's going on. So you gotta watch like the end of season 7 just to remember what's happening, because this season just like you hit the ground running, but you forget what's happening.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
Khaleesi.
Classic. Yeah. Yeah. Mother of Dragons. Yeah.
I love Khaleesi. I just like love like the power that she like she embodies. Like it's just so, in a way it's kind of sexy.
Yeah.
And it's also like dangerous. Like she's so like fierce, but she's very like subliminal with it.
That's true.
Like she's not like Jon Snow, like with his
she's not super aggressive.
She's like, she's just like really like, I'm the queen.
Yeah.
And y'all gonna listen to me.
That's true. Yeah.
So I like that.
What are your thoughts on the portrayal of LGBTQ folks in movies, in Bollywood movies?
You know, to be honest, Gurpreet, I don't really watch a lot of Bollywood movies.
Fair enough.
I don't really listen to a lot of Bollywood music.
Okay.
I do listen to Punjabi music, and
Yeah.
that too is because I have 2 Punjabi best friends, and that's like all we listen to when we're together because they get tired of listening to Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
So I do know that there was like some movie that just came out that there was a couple people that were telling me on Instagram, oh, we thought about you, we saw this movie. I forgot the name. It was like a movie that just recently came out. I don't know if you know about it.
It's funny that I ask these questions because I also don't know too much about Bollywood.
Okay.
because
So we're on the same
you
boat.
spend an hour here, be like, yeah, the one movie with the one Indian guy.
Yeah.
There's that dance scene in Sweden.
There's also that other movie, Dostana,
Dostana, yeah.
where it's like I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know if they're like a gay couple or they pretend to be gay.
I think they pretend to be gay.
Right,
Yeah.
Which is kind of
I ask about Bollywood because I think, again, like the Indian cultural thing, at least from the previous generation, even the way they portray Sardars way back when was sort of like a joke character. It wasn't made to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So things like Dostana and even I saw a movie recently, and I don't know if this was intentional, but have you seen Padmavat? I think it was Padmavat.
Oh my God,
Right?
get out of my head.
Is that the one you were talking about?
That's the movie that I saw with my mom in the movie theaters. Is that the one where it's like a royal guy? He's like a king, and he like has like one of his maids is like a man. And like he sleeps with him.
So Ranveer Singh's character.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that, but I was like, what is the name of that movie?
Yeah, I'm very proud of myself for remembering this.
Oh,
Sure,
okay.
say.
You were in my head.
So Ranveer Singh, by the way, he kind of is like a Khal Drogo looking character. I feel like they purposely made him look like that, but he plays
I
a
agree with
character.
you. Right.
And his like side assassin guy.
Yeah.
I think he's gay.
Right.
Right. And the problem is.
No, he was gay.
He was gay, right? But
because he was
he was in love with him.
He was in love with him,
Yeah.
and he was like, I feel like in one episode he was like massaging his back. Or
So there was a
something
song.
like that.
And he's like singing "Vin Tere,"
Yeah.
and he's like massaging his back and like
that really irritated me when I saw that with my mom, and she was like, oh, what do you? She's, and, we were like sitting to the movie theater. I'm like, Mom, do you see like how this is wrong? And she was like. She's like, oh, this is nothing.
They just think of it as a joke, yeah.
And she's like, she didn't even feel comfortable to even talk about it, like that. There's a man that's like that is showing like affection to another man. So I was like, all right, let's not even broach this topic.
So we were watching that in the movie theater,
right?
And again, I don't think it was purposely meant to be funny, but the audience there was all Indian in the theater, and they were basically laughing at him. But he was just acting like he was playing a gay character, right? So I was curious about your thoughts on that because it's still seen as a joke sometimes that you're gay, and it's like you can't be taken seriously. It's just like, oh, he's a funny, like, oh, he's gay, like, it's like back in the day that was seen as a joke. They did that for Sardars. We used to be the funny characters, not taken seriously. But that irritated me because it's like, wait a minute, like, why can't you take him seriously? He's a badass assassin. Yes, he's gay.
Right.
But I think they were making fun of him in the audience, and I felt uncomfortable about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's a really good question because I feel like sometimes I'm even taken as a joke.
Really?
I feel like sometimes people don't really take me seriously because they don't take my sexuality seriously, or they don't believe, or they can't wrap their minds around like me being homosexual.
Okay. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, for example, I've had comments from my family be like, oh, well, let's take you to the doctor and get you some medication. Maybe you'll start liking girls
crazy.
again.
Yeah.
And I looked at them and I was like, okay, so let me take you to the doctor and get you some medication so you can sleep with the man. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's insane.
And then I had someone tell me like, oh, I'd rather you would have told me that you were doing cocaine than tell me that you're gay, And these are like family members. So, a lot of things, it's like, yeah.
You should have been like, I'm doing both.
Yeah. No, I'm not. But seriously, like, it's things like that
That's
people
ridiculous.
have said to me where it's like, I feel like I'm not taken seriously.
Yeah.
Where I feel like, my identity or what I'm so passionate about is sometimes not sometimes coming across as like truth.
Okay.
Or authentic.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people think that, oh, this is probably a phase, maybe you're gonna like grow out of it. Mind you, I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years, like it's clearly not a phase.
Clearly,
If you're I can see how a parent might think a child from like the age of 10 to like maybe 15 that might be a phase. I can see
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it's 100% correct.
Sure.
But I can see from a parent's mindset, I can see why they might think it's a phase.
Okay.
Until their child starts dating someone of the same sex, and then they start to see like, oh wait, my child is actually this way.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes parents need to see it. Like for me, I came out to my mom, and for her, it was just like, oh my God, you know, it was like her whole world came down on her because she had all these expectations. And then a year after, I brought home my boyfriend, and she was like, oh, like it's like I stepped on her, like I like kicked her while she was already down.
Yeah. Oh no.
But
yeah.
I did that because I needed it to be in her face.
Like to show her that you were serious.
Yeah,
It wasn't just
I needed it to be in everyone's face for them to know that no, this is how I really am.
I love that. Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And sometimes you have to do that because with our community and people within our community, you know, sometimes you gotta show it to them for them to believe you. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure when you wanted to be a singer, people probably didn't take you seriously either. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
I am sure they're like, oh, you don't want to become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. You don't want to like do all those things, and you're like, no, I kind of want to sing and play on my guitar.
And any guest I've had so far is sort of doing unconventional things,
Right.
but we're all the same generation where we have to prove ourselves because people don't take us seriously unless we're pursuing.
Exactly.
My best friend is he just graduated Harvard Law School.
Oh wow!
Right? So
Good for him.
Shout out to Jaywin. He's like the token child that our parents would love because he's doing X, Y, and Z, well-rounded. But the thing is, he's passionate about what he does. And that's all that matters.
Right.
And that's all that should matter.
It's all about it's all about like my mom tells me. My mom wanted me to become a doctor.
Okay.
Right. Of course. And I was like, all right, let me try this. You know, I went right here to John Jay College, graduated with a forensic science degree. Then I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to do this.
Good. Yeah.
Like, you know, like this is not. But what I love about my mom is a special ed teacher. She has 3 masters, right?
Wow.
And what I love about my mom is that to her, education is the utmost important thing.
That's amazing.
And I think she's ingrained that in me because I really stay true to that. And she told me, she's like, listen, if you don't want to become a doctor, that's fine.
Yeah.
Find something that you love and kick ass at it.
Oh, yes. That's a move.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
like
course.
kick ass at it so badly where people are like, oh, wow, like look at him, like he's killing it. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, girl, I'm going to do that.
Do it. That's good. I think that's very important. We talk about education. You are now helping educate the next generation.
I hope I am.
And I'm excited to have you because on IGTV, what we're going to be doing is actually sliding into Sunny's DMs. And I know you've gotten a lot of responses. You get questions, comments daily. So I'm excited to see what kind of things you're getting from people, and maybe you can use that as an opportunity to educate, to give some advice, pass it on. How does it feel to be a role model that you yourself didn't have? How does that feel?
Scary.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. Nervousness. You know, I still sometimes like wake up in the morning, I'm like, wait, is this real life? You know, like even where I work, I'm like, wait, is this real life? Like where I'm working right now? Like I feel like Vaigru has really listened to me. Like I feel like all the conversations I had with him, I feel like he's really listened because a lot of the things are manifesting into reality.
Good.
And
very good.
There is a lot of power in spirituality. I don't care what anybody says. There definitely is.
Yeah.
And if you're like really true and genuine and authentic to yourself, like I really think that, you know, Vaigru is really like, even if you're not, but you'll start to see that light, you know?
Yeah.
And you'll come to your own and you'll start to feel the same way I feel. And I feel certain ways I do feel that I'm a little enlightened. I know I might sound a little egotistic. I'm not trying to be, but I'm just trying to say that because, you know, a lot of things that I'm doing, I feel like I've been placed here for this purpose.
You've been blessed with the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And like one, you're spiritual. 2, you sort of like recognize that within
and I
you,
sort of I sort of like recognize that.
Good.
And you know, and I don't take that for granted.
Okay. Good.
And most importantly, I just feel that like when I'm walking every single day like to work, sometimes I don't feel very confident.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I don't feel like what I'm portraying on social media.
Yeah.
Everyone has those days, you know, where they don't feel confident, or they're feeling down, or they're having a rough day, or they just got into a fight with their significant other, whatever it may be, right? But at the end of the day, when I like open up my Instagram, whatever time it is, and I see like these beautiful comments and I see like all these messages, I'm just like, no, Sonny, like you gotta keep going.
You gotta keep going.
You gotta keep like, don't stop. Which is why when I was taking a break from social media, I kept getting like, they're like, where are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not posting anything? Like, and a lot of them are from the Bay, and I love everyone from the Bay that always hits me up every single day. Like, I love you guys. And I was just like, no, I just need some time to myself. They're like, no, you know? So it's really nice to feel that. And it's really nice that people are actually out there like waiting for you to post something, waiting to see like what you're gonna do next. It's a little exciting. But also like I said before, it's a lot of pressure, and it is very scary.
But they say that like if you're doing something that you're afraid of, then that's where growth is gonna come, because you're like stepping out of your comfort zone. Growing up, me, my siblings, my community of friends, we grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. And there wasn't that big of a Sikh community there. But we've had conversations there, even in Maryland at Sikh camps with our buddies, and we would all say that there's never been a Sikh wedding, like a Sikh Anand Karaj. That's like a gay Anand Karaj, like a gay Sikh wedding. And growing up, we'd always say, there's never been a gay Sikh wedding, never been a gay Sikh wedding. There have to be gay Sikhs because, I mean, like, just percentage of population-wise, there are gay people, and Sikhs are people, so there have to be gay Sikhs. But we've never seen, like, a gay Sikh wedding before. And it was crazy to see that. I think there was, like a lesbian Indian, like Hindu wedding maybe, but not a gay Sikh wedding.
There was a gay Sikh wedding, but only one partner was Sikh. It was in Canada.
Okay. Well, that was recently, right?
That was recently where the Sikh individual wore like a sherwani with a bug and everything, and his partner wore like a suit.
Okay.
That was like one that I saw.
Was that at a gurdwara, or was it? So that's the problem, is that you have to, like.
So Gurpreet, since you brought that up.
Yeah, talk to me, Sonny. Talk to me.
Since you brought that up. So. When same-sex became decriminalized in India, and gay marriage became legal, if you Google, because I did this, right? If you Google the Rath Maryada, right? On the bottom, there's like a little like script, right? And I forget the head priest's name of like the Golden Temple, or
was it like Akal Takht, like the SGPC, like
by Joe? It's with a J. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. But basically, he has scripted that no same-sex marriages are allowed globally at any Gurdwara.
This came out, I remember like 5 or 6 years ago, that the Akal Takht had said something, like the SGPC had said that,
or maybe it was the Akal Takht.
There was some legislation. There was some legislation that it wasn't allowed, and it was like worldwide controversy for our generation. I think our parents' generation might have been like, ha, told you so. It's like written there.
Right. But you know what? I had a conversation like that with my brother, and my brother said, who cares?
Yeah, I agree.
If you find a Gurdwara and you find a Granthi who is willing to do that for you, you go ahead and you do it. Because let me tell you something. When I get married one day, it's going to happen. I'm going to do a Anand Karaj around the Guru Granth Sahib. And that might cause a lot of controversy. That might cause a riot. That might cause chaos. Well, you know what? I don't give a... Because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm a Sikh. Like, I grew up going to the Gurdwara. I grew up listening to Kirtan, Katha. Like, why should I get married in a church or outside somewhere? Why shouldn't I get married where what I know best?
With the Guru Sahib.
With the Guru Sahib. You know what I mean? And Vaheguru is the one that created me. He made me.
Vaheguruji made you. So
Vaheguruji knew that this is how Sandeep Boprai was going to be. Well, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm excited that we are best friends now, because I would love to attend your wedding when it happens.
For sure.
Dude, this is exciting.
For sure. All my friends tell me you should do it regardless of what anybody says. Trust me, I do, like, inside I'm like, oh my god, I'm sure like people are gonna like, throw rocks at us or whatever, blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's like, you need someone, a pioneer. There needs to be someone to pioneer that.
I will say that like, we're not at the level of our Guru Sahibs.
We're not.
They were pioneers. But if we have to lead by their examples, it's also our responsibility to be pioneers for the future generation. There's a lot of...
And you know what? It might not happen in this... You know what? The thing is that, like, the same way how... Like, I have a feeling it might not happen yet.
Okay.
But I'm very confident that it will happen one day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the millennial generation is a lot more woke than we think. There's a lot more millennials that are more, I feel like, understanding and empathetic because, you know, they grew up in the States.
Yeah.
They have gay friends.
Yeah,
they have maybe a gay cousin, a gay brother, a gay sister. So they understand a lot more than our parents did because I feel like our parents weren't exposed to that.
They weren't exposed.
So they didn't know how to handle it, you know? Which is kind of like what my mom says. My mom's like, I don't know.
They literally didn't know better.
Yeah, they didn't know any better. And you know what? And I bet you $1 million there's peers of our parents who are probably closeted homosexuals who probably acted on homosexual behavior, but because society didn't agree with them, they ended up marrying someone that was a woman and they literally destroyed their whole life.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm never going to do.
And you shouldn't. Absolutely
right.
not.
Absolutely.
Sunny, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, this has been so much fun.
This has been such a dope conversation.
Yeah.
Where can everyone find you on social media?
Okay, guys, everyone can find me at King Sunny B on Instagram. Okay, DM me, hit me up. If you have any questions, any advice, you want any advice, feel free to hit me up. Any negative comments, keep them to yourself. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Sunny, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming to the show, Bart. Take care.
Yes.
All right, and thank you everyone for listening. I will see you again next week. Hey there! Thank you again for tuning in to Gupshup with Gurpreet Serene. I am happy that you watched till the very end of the video. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out the audio version of the podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. Also, make sure to check out the IGTV for some behind the scenes action where I will be posting some interactive things with my guests. Thank you again so much for tuning in to another episode of Gupshup with Gurpreet Serene. I will see you next Wednesday.